Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Delta V Rings of Saturn. I've been meaning to look at this on the channel. I had a fiddle with it about a week or two ago, and I kind of found myself tumbling down the rabbit hole a little bit. This is quite a lot of fun. It is actually the symbol Delta in its name. It's a bit unusual for naming conventions, probably not the best decision publishing wise, but I understand what they're meaning because Delta V is an actual term, especially in the context of this game because there is a lot of momentum rocketry going on. It's arcadey, but the way that the fuel system all that works is quite often you can be incentivized to just hit a vector and send it. And do your best not to maneuver off of it. It's actually sort of built around some of those concepts. Anyway, let's jump into it and have a bit of a look. Look at this. Thematically, this is wonderful. So at the core, this is about having a ship that goes mining in Saturn's rings, right? In fact, I suppose it's going to tutorial us. It's straight in. So this is how you start. You basically get slung shot from this station up to the edge of the rings, right? You can see all these little bits and bobs here, and if you bump into them, you can be in all sorts of trouble. Oh my god, hang on, I'm a bit rusty on the controls. So if you use right click, you can sort of drag that around. You can also use left click to manually control the sort of vector in a mouse drag. So you can see my cursor, if I drag it out here, it's changing the vector there, okay? But you just got to be careful about your collision with all these things, right? So here we go. So, well, I guess you can't collide into these little, they're more fluff. So the whole idea is that you're a mining ship. If you click to lock on like I did, left click there, your ship will auto match to it. So I don't know, let's get ourselves going. Let's create a vector, right? And then you click this, and your ship will auto match. You can see it here, the interpolated relative velocity there, which is pretty cool. Anyway, hang on, my bad. Let's get back closer to that asteroid. So it has some really interesting sort of, I don't know what you would like to call it, space movement and relative velocity. What you can do here is you can drag around the relative vector there. All right, so you can see there. Who's this bloody talking to me? It's faint spleen. What are you doing here, Ringer? Looking for veins to mine. You're still in the shallows. The outer rim is practically vapor. Check the visual feed for thinner ice. You'll start seeing better results in those areas. Okay, cool. Thank you. She's talking about this here. You kind of want to go deeper into the ring. You can see over here your depth. We're only 0.5 kilometer in. And your velocity, which, that obviously doesn't have the actual vector, which is interesting. But if you go past 50, that's a big no-no, I think, is sort of how the game puts it to you. Anyway, so if you hit spacebar, you fire your bloody gun, right? And now little bits come falling off, right? And you can break it apart like that. And then here you go, that little flashy bit, where do you go? There's a sort of sexy piece of gear. Actually, let's just do this here. Careful. Don't go crashing into it. Fuck, don't go crashing into it. Okay, I'll just run into it. It's not a big deal. Let's click here. Zap it. Here we go. There's a bit of cool bits. So we're gonna go get it. So we're gonna drag out a relative vector there. Close in on it. Now how do we get it inside our hold? You hold down middle mouse click. It goes into a zoom and you see I've got a little bloody bird's mouth on the front of my car. And we've got to stick it in there. Here we go. Get your relative vector going. So it's about juggling vectors. That's what this is about. Which funnily enough takes me back to my days in the Navy. Because there is a huge component of driving a ship about understanding relative velocity and vectors, like if you're moving past another ship. But, that's a story for another day. You can see down here, this is our little cargo hold as well. Now, water is generally speaking a bit of a waste. Can I eat anything out of this? And you can see that's the little blob that we caught, right? However, let's say I go vector like this, and then I stand on the brakes. What happens to it when I do this? Look at that. See, it's tracking that it runs straight up to the nozzle. And if I might even do it, if I open that up, it'll fall out, you can see. So there's a sort of puzzly mini game about keeping the cargo inside your ship, your vessel. Oops, I ran into him very quickly, that wasn't great. Let's grab that. Yummy. And so there's a whole market, there's an upgrade system that we'll see when we get back. So let's just do a little bit more mining while we're out here. Come on, out you go. Uh-oh, hang on, we're swinging in pretty fast here. Oh, we got it. So you've got your fuel, which is this hollow versus light part down the bottom right. You can also, is it shift? You can engage like your sort of super thrusters to sort of travel larger distances. I hope we don't run into these rocks because we're going very fast. So that gives you an idea. Now, as the chick said that came past, we kind of want to go deeper. So here we go, you can just go bang. Just jam that on, but you're going to notice that your vector's never going to really be perfect. So you're going to start drifting around and around. So we start sort of tumbling, which you can sort of course correct with your other thrusters. And we're going at 70 meters per second, which is fucking fast. If we hit an asteroid, it's going to be bad. In fact, I shouldn't have done that because now I'm steering towards it. And there we go, we took some damage. That's okay. Now if you press J, was it? I think. Here's your sort of interface. And see, we've got some misalignment going on. So you can sort of combat realign that a little bit. It's not so bad. That's not so bad. You can see why I took some time before I showed this on the channel. There are moving parts to this game. There's a patience required, like cruising around at 70 meters per second is a really good way to really brick yourself. There we go. And obviously we're going to start getting overflow problems. Oh, not quite. Uh-oh. So taking a little bit of damage. It's not that bad. How we going? It's not great because you have to repair it all. What is this bloke doing? Oh, he must have some technology I'm not familiar with. Oh, fuck you, I'm pinching that. I'm gonna pinch this real quick as well. Bits falling out my mouth. Yeah. Alright, my autopilot's sort of fucking me up a little bit here. And this dude's fighting me for it. Now, I believe you can do like pirate hunting and all that sort of stuff as well. He really wants it. You know what? Prick, you can have it. So we're pretty full, albeit with some kind of crap. Right, so the next part of the loop is, let's get out of here, right? So we'll do that. Now, I can't remember how does it work? There's an auto target. Might be G or F or something. Oh, it's F, it is F. And that makes things a lot easier. So if you hold F, see, I get this sort of laser. Am I burning that dude with my rocket? Fuck him. It sort of does an auto lock, and what you can do is you can sort of swing through an arc and hold it, and there you go, and now we've locked on. So that's a really good way to just sort of to lock onto things. Like, there we go, let's swing through there. Nice. What am I even locked onto now? Nothing. Anyway, you get the gist. You get the gist. All right, so we are gonna get out of here. How deep are we? 3 kilometers. So let's get going. Oh, that was nearly a good shot. So you can sort of shoot your way out, but the danger is your ship auto-aligning to these things. So you better bloody kill them. Otherwise you're sort of putting your ship on a direct crash course. There you go, off we go, drifting away. And yeah, so you have to sort of pay fees to the base. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah, bugger it. You have to pay fees to the base to hurtle you back into the field. And that's basically it, you know? So it is a pretty, it's not a shallow loop, but it is a simple concept, fairly well realized. I'm a big fan of that. I don't like games that are like, we need 50 different bloody mini games to make our game valuable. And it's like, no, just get a concept and nail it. And this thing does really well. So we're leaving the area, so we'll just drift for a little bit longer. What's this bloke doing out here? So these random AIs will come and have a chat with you, and you can say, "Ho there, how you going? Mate, got any order spare? This was a challenging drive for Wizard Trailer." No, I'm just going to ignore this guy, get stuffed. There we go, so now it's triggering the go home event, and that's it. That's the main sort of loop. I love this. This reminds me of Alien so much. Just something about the way it's displayed. So there we go. So now we're back at base. We're, you know, plugged in. Bit of R&R. Now you can auto sell all this stuff, or you can put it in storage. We'll put it in storage just for the sake of showing off the market, because, you know, funnily enough, it makes me think of Farming Sim, another game where you go out, albeit you farm your actual, you know, grain and all that sort of stuff. But a big sort of meta component of the loop, or on top of the core loop, is the idea of holding on to your harvests until the right time to sell. In that, it's a little bit more seasonal driven, but this is more watching the market and doing your best to sort of play it. Right now, I haven't really gone into it too much myself. But yeah, there's a whole discipline here, I suppose. However, you can just sell your stuff automatically. You can see here we've got water. That's how much we actually have there as well. So I suppose if we do that, it sells it in real time. So that's pretty cool. Can I affect the market at all? Doesn't look like I'm advancing it at all or anything. No. I mean, you'd be worried if I could single-handedly move the market. But, yeah. That's interesting how there's different nubs for sort of reflective of the relative value. So we got like 20,000 out of that haul, right? However, there will be repairs, right? Which, that's not looking fantastic. We've got some misalignment, so let's do this. So she's back on track. However, we're still going to have sort of permanent damage as it chips away. And you've seen this in armor repair systems in fantasy games and that. Tarkov does it actually, right? You can only keep repairing your armor so much because it has this overarching sort of consideration that it will wear out over time no matter how much you repair it. So, you know, as these sort of start turning yellow, we might want to consider getting rid of them. Tuning is a whole other story that runs this little real-time simulation. You have to balance, it reminds me, I suppose, of your EVE Onlines and your Elite Dangerous, where you have like reactor temperature and power output that you have to balance. The game actually warns you before you buy an upgrade that bricks it, but in here you can fine-tune it if you were playing Forza or F1 or something like that. And you've got the live readout of, well, you've got your capacitor, your reactor temperature, which needs to stay under control, and your power balance. If we go to equipment, so these are all the different sort of, well, hard points. They are all kind of hard points. These are your different slots, right? We click on the high stress hard points and you can see there, it tells you what you can afford and what you can't. And it also gives you these warnings like here, this upgrade is going to exceed your thermal or electrical production of your craft, right? So that's a big no-no, right? We could put this railgun on here, but you can see you probably see it in the simulation. It's gonna, oh here, look at this. Look at that. Just firing it a few times just jammed the capacitor through the floor. So you could do it. You could do it. But it's probably not the best move. We've got the mass driver by default, which is our little gun, basically, which behaves like a railgun, I think. All right, let's get out of this hard point. So we've got these low hard points, right? 4,000 for an impact absorber. That's probably not a bad idea. Let's just put that sort of like baffling. And we'll get the one on the other side as well. So you've got essentially your left, right, and your high stress, which is in the center. Kinetic ammunition, so you can change the ammo, but you get all the way down into your reactor core as well, so you can change the core, which is not cheap. A lot of this is very expensive. Change your actual power plant. Look at this, we can get an autopilot, that's not bad. Cargo bay is worth having a look at. We can get baffling for the cargo bay. So if we buy that, you can see it here. It puts a little lip on the inside of your cargo hold, so it makes it kind of one way, so it can't get out. It's a good early upgrade to get. But the thing is that we'll be buying into different techs later as well, which would be like this. Does it give a good, here you go, you can see up here. Applies reactor heat directly to melt water. So this will draw power, obviously not a significant amount, but it will melt the water component out so we can get more raw metals in, because the water is sort of like wasted space but a necessary evil. There's a lot of cool stuff. I've seen people get these like grabber arms that are really handy, but I'm not 100% sure. That's probably in one of the hard point spots. You can change your HUD and it shows you here, it totally changes it. Which is pretty cool. What about this one? What's this super duper one? Oh, that's kind of cool, isn't it? But I wonder how much of that is just what's sexy and what's not. Okay, dealer. So we can actually change ship. You can just trade it in full stop for one of these. I don't know what is that warning about? I don't know. There's a lot of ships. A lot of cool ships, and I think you can have a bit of a squiz at them here. Crew, you can chuck crew in, which is a cool little mechanic. Hire up here. Price prediction accuracy. What are you, a geologist? Determine the accuracy of price prediction by a geologist, both on station in mineral market and during a dive. We're gonna hire you. What's this? 11 grand finder's fee. Nice, and there she is, all crewed up, ready to go. What else could we use? Adrenal slowdown, I think, is if you're about to crash into something, it gives you a chance to course correct. Look at this. Oh, look at that. Big adrenal slowdown. Course anticipation. Let's hire this little young gun. Oh no. I might have spent too much money. Oh, silly me. And that's just logs. Okay, cool. So here we go. You can see that that's going to cost me, oh wow. I wonder if I can go into debt. Let's find out, actually. It'll be interesting. But you can actually see that you can change all your settings. You can choose to, how do I, oh, maybe I can't adjust it because I'm broke. Allow drift. Oh no, you just click where you want to go, right? We'll put allow drift on. You can see there it's going to try and slingshot us into, these higher depths. But look at this, look how much it costs you to get right in there, So that's probably not what we want, especially since we are dirt poor. What is going on with this bloody curve? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, that'll do us, 4,000. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Yeah, I think we did go into debt, which is good because, you don't really want the game to brick you on that one. But I suppose it makes it even more important that we actually turn a profit on this next run. And there you go, you can see the baffling, or whatever you want to call it, attached to the side. Absorption. And then off we go, back in. So that's the trick with this game. But I can see this wearing out its welcome pretty quickly on some people, right? But there is a bit of nuance to it. And however, while I often turn to things like idler clickers or roguelikes or whatever, sort of as my 30 minutes in between things, you know, not a deep investment game, maybe this would fill the spot for some as well. Just go and mine some asteroids for half an hour. At the end of a long day, you don't have enough time to really invest into a full match of something. Let's get going. Alright, now we're bloody... This is pod racing. You reckon we'll miss that? Fingers crossed. Oh, okay. Well, that's our protection hard at work, but wonder how badly we busted it up. Oh, here you go. Let's have a look at this bloke. So even just that maneuvering having to slow down, we've gone through a significant amount of fuel, so you really want to avoid that. Now this is cool, now that we've got the geologist on board, see, oh, let's go chase that. $3,500. You start to get price predictions on the little bits and pieces. Nice. Oh. That's 1,400, it's not terrible. How much is that? Oh, you're not going to give me a price? 6,000, let's go get that. Let's go, baby. Yeah, see, the shifter's not a great idea. Oh, where'd it go? No, I think I've lost it. Oh no, I've got radar up here actually. Let's give it a go. You can use this. I think I saw it up here glinting. Though, actually we'll leave it. It's not going to slow down because it's space. $11,000. Oh, bugger. So I'm sort of rushing it a bit, you know. Gives you an idea. Probably supposed to play this a little bit more slow. Oh, I think that might be outside my range. It's getting closer. Oh god, that's flying. That's a lot of water. $500? Oh god, I'll take it. Oops. $11,000. Hang on. Let's go get that bloke. So that's not bad. What is that? BE, beryllium. Not bad. Not bad out here in the edge. Just getting the scraps. Anyway, Delta V, Rings of Saturn. That should give you a bit of an idea. It's a lot of fun, actually. It's quite cool. It's a good little grind. But I do feel that, once you start getting into the mid to late game loop, it turns into just keep grinding. So a lot of it is going to be how much are you getting out of the sort of core gameplay loop. Something that might come to mind, actually, funnily enough, for me, is something like Hard Space Shipbreaker, and for various reasons we don't play that anymore, but we're not getting into that. But there's no denying that the core loop in that is actually, I find it's just interesting and varied enough to be infinitely replayable, and I really never really got bored with the hard space loop, especially with them adding ships and that sort of thing. So I found in that I could keep doing the grind over and over. I don't particularly care that much for the progression, whereas this, it's a little bit different. I feel like the loop, for me personally, doesn't hold me quite as long, but each person's going to be different. And unlike, to use the hard space example, your progression doesn't matter a huge amount in hard space, but I feel like your progression matters a lot in this. A lot of the technology that really makes life easier is very much backloaded, and I understand that makes sense in the scenario. You're a mercenary miner trying to find your way, but these sort of, while it's not roguelite has this problem, this idea of backloading the quality of life upgrades to the point where your reward for grinding it hard in the early day is an easier gameplay loop in the back end, which is kind of back to front to me. Surely the game should start easier and get progressively harder. But anyway, that's more just a commentary on some of these upgrade trees and how I think it should be more about augmenting gameplay as opposed to simplifying and making it easier. But I guess it depends how you find reward-driven gameplay. Maybe you feel better. It's like, it's so much easy now and I earned that. Personally, I like the pursuit of the challenge at all times. But anyway, I'm getting off on a little tangent. It's a cool game. It's a very cool game, but your mileage will vary depending on whether this gameplay loop kind of just wears you out early or not. Anyway, check it out yourself. Team, we might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.